All right, this lesson is going to be a pretty quick one, and you're not actually going to have to do anything for this one. It's just a really quick theory explanation. Because last time I was talking about playing the 1 chord, and then I was going to the 4 chord and the 5 chord. And then I was talking about the 6 being a minor chord. And I realised that that might not make a lot of sense to a lot of people, those new numbers. So this is just a really quick attempt at explaining what we mean by those and how that's going to be useful later on. When you play a scale, you don't play every single note, all the sharps and flats, you jump around, but you already know this pretty well. You pick 8 notes, which are do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So I'm playing in C. This is a C scale. We're playing in the key of C. And you number each one of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you played in a different key, if I was in F, it's still do, re, mi. And you would still number them the same, but now the notes are different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You end on an F. So, yeah, depending on what chord you start in, depending on what key you start in, the note names are going to rotate, but the maths is still the same. It's still going to be 1 is your root, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's how you figure things out, like what your 7th chord is, or a flattened 7th, or adding a 6th. That's what that means, is that it's the number of those notes in the scale. And if we wanted to play, we could play chords on every one of those notes. So if I'm in C, and I just go through C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, they're all major chords, and it doesn't quite sound right because some of those chords are using notes that are sort of outside of the C scale. And to make it sound right, the only ones that are going to stay major is the 1, which is the C, the 4, which is the F, and the 5, which is the G. So that's why you always hear 1, 4, and 5 are those common chords. C, F, and G are the most common chords. Everything else, or actually not everything else, most of the rest are going to be minor chords. The 2, the 3, and the 6. And when we get to the 7th one, that's a weird one. But let's hear what that sounds like. So C is 1, that's going to stay major. D will be minor. E is 3, that'll be minor. F is major, 4. G is major, 5. Then it goes all the way around to A again, and that's going to be minor. The B is the 7th one. That's a weird one. It doesn't fit as major or minor. You have to play a diminished chord, which I don't need to explain the reason why. That's just an odd one out, and then you're back to 8. So you can then sing your scale: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and it all works because the 1, the 4, and the 5 stayed major, and the other most common ones are going to be minor. And the 2 most common ones are the number 2 chord, the D. After C comes D. And also the 6th, which when you count it out is the A. And we already know that. When you're playing in C, you play a lot of A minors, and you also play quite a few D minors. And that's going to be relevant later on when you change key. The 1, the 4, and the 5 will stay major, and the other ones will be minor. So when I'm talking about that later on, that's what it means. It's all related to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the do, re, mi scale. Cool. See you next time.